Today we're going to show you a quick demo. We're going to make soft glass marbles on a minor burner run with an oxycon, and within the marble we're going to put some soft glass dichroic strips. So when you come to use dichroic, you can use quite a lot of different variations. You use dichroic glass, dichroic noodles, even frit. These have been fused. A lot of people find a problem with dichroic is if you heat the wrong side, or you overheat it, or you touch it with a flame, you can burn out the dichroic and you end up with what looks like soot or ash. So the dichroic strips that we've got have been fused. These are made in America, and they've been fused so that it protects the dichroic a lot better. So, and to avoid any cracking when we pick them up, we've got here what's called a hot plate. So if you want to put them in the kiln, you can do. If you want to put them on your marva, your torch marva, to pre-warm them, you can do. I prefer the hot plate. Gets it nice and hot, and hopefully it will stop them cracking as we pick them up with the Maria. So all I've got today is silver and emerald. I've got some green crackle as well, don't know if I'm going to work with that. But silver and emerald fused dichroic strips. So you'll make tens of marbles out of one strip, so it's so economical. So I've cut them with a pair of nippers, and I've just cut them into sort of inch, 3/4 inch strips, laid them on the hot plate, turned the hot plate on just to pre-warm them a little bit, so I'll put those out of the way. The other tools we're working with today is we've got Mini Monster marble mould, we've got a carbon paddle, a pair of mashers, and then I've got 8mm Effectra clear, and I've also got some intense black. It's the only colours we're working with. These are all Effectra colours. As usual, I need to clean the ends up, and then we'll get on with making the marble. So, I'll light the torch. As I said, this is the minor burner. So, just wait for it to balance out a little bit. And then we just need to clean up the ends. If you've watched a few videos before, you'll realise I don't like using the end of the glass straight in the flame, because it tends to, where it's been broken off, it tends to form little bubbles and scaggy bits and stuff like that. So you might think it's great, you might not have a problem with it, it's just me. So a couple of seconds just to take this piece off. And I'll do the second one as well. And the first thing we'll need to do is to create a Maria. So if you think of it as a nail head on the glass, on the 8mm glass, and that's to pick up the dichroic. So take that piece off, and then start to lean the glass down a little bit, and just let it fold over and build up naturally. Be going for about the size of the broad beam. I've no idea what size the marble is going to be at the moment, but as with everything, there's no rush for this. We've got the time. So obviously with dichroic you can make pendants, you can make beads, art glass, whatever you want. This is just a great way to form what will be like a spiral, almost like a little mini vortex of dichroic going into the marble. With the black background as well, it just stands out, it just screams out at you. So it's very effective. So still melting the clear glass, and then with the paddle, start to form your Maria. If it needs flattening out a little bit more, just melt the face of the Maria. Probably one last time. Just measure it against the dichroic. And when you come to pick the dichroic up, you'll need the face of the Maria nice and hot, proper red hot, because you don't want to pick up half a strip, you don't want to pick up one of the 3 strips, there's 3 strips there. You want to pick up all 3 strips and get a good contact point all at the same time. So, getting it nice and hot. And then placing it over the dichroic. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. and then just start to warm it in the flame just to make sure nothing jumps off. And then maybe use a pair of mashers just in case they've split a little bit. You can always use your mashers or your paddle to push them back in. So I'm just going to move the hot plate out of the way now, because as its name suggests, it's pretty hot. And now, just keeping the Maria and the dichroic nice and warm, I'm going to start to heat up the second rod of effectual clear that I've got. And with this, just start to create a second Maria so I can encase all the dichroic. When we encase the dichroic, then obviously I've protected the dichroic and I can really go with some heat, because I'm not scared of burning the dichroic off anymore. So again, just take your time, a couple of minutes, and remember to keep the dichroic nice and warm. You're not melting it so much as just keeping it warm so that it's not going to crack and get thermal shock or anything. And then when you're ready, put the effector over the dichroic. And as you start to take it off, you leave a nice lump there. And then again with your paddle, just paddle this down. And at this point, most of the, well, all the dichroic's now going to be protected, so I'm quite happy to start using the flame directly all over, because I'm not scared of burning the dichroic. It's got everything's encased. So, and again, the Maria that you used the first time to pick the dichroic up, don't forget to keep heating the back of that. So do this in bora as well, borosilicate if you want. Obviously in soft glass, it's just so much quicker and easier to do. And then with your rod of clear again, just attach to one side of the disc that you've got now. And just give it a couple of seconds to set, and then take off the other rod that you've been using all the time. And we're going to attach this then, slide this round and attach it to this side of the opposite side of the, well, you've got like a coin now. And then just start to melt it in, get everything nice and hot. We're going to put some twists at this point. So if you think this looks like an icicle when it first starts off, and then start, just as you twist it, start to push it together as well to form the start of your marble. And it's becoming invisible at the moment because the dichroic's just taken on the colour. It's not until we get the black backing on later on that you can actually see the colours that you've got in there. But we know from past experiences we've got silver, and then either side of the silver should be a line of emerald. So again, just start to build up what will be the top of the marble, so the lens, and just, it's a lot easier using the thicker rod. But if you've got if you've got thinner rod, 4 and 5 mil, you can always get away with that. So, but if we create the lens first, it just helps out, it just makes it a little bit easier in the end. A little bit quicker as well. And then back down to the bottom of the marble, and we'll pop a little bit of a clear base on as well, on the bottom. So you've got the dichroic sandwiched in the middle now, with a nice twist in it. Clear top and bottom. And then we're going to go start doing some shaping. I'm just going to clean the point of this rod because this is going to become a punty later. So then using the mini monster, just start to gently twist the glass round in the monster, and we're going for a rough round shape at the moment. Don't get fixated on getting the world's most straight, perfectly round marble to begin with, because we've got the black to encase it in as well. So the shaping comes at the end. And then, as always, when I've used carbon tools or brass tools or stainless steel tools, I just like to flame it over and take any mould marks off the glass, which appear like tiny little fingerprints. So this is the intense black and this is the smaller. If we just wait a couple of seconds for the bottom of the marble to start to sort of stiffen up a little bit. And then with the intense black, we're going to heat the tip of it, and then we're going to encase black around the base. So heating the bottom of the rod, if that happens, don't worry about it too much, it just broke off, but just almost like swiping. You're not laying the whole rod around the base, you're just sort of swiping a thin layer of colour on, and then when you get around the beginning, just veer off a little bit to the right, and off we go again. And if you have got little gaps, at this point it's always good to go around, just fill in any little gaps. And then again, just tidy up the end of this on your marver or your carbon flat, because again that'll become a punting. So now we can just start to look at doing the concentrate on the shaping. So you want to be getting the whole marble, which at this point is about 1 inch in diameter, so 25mm. And then rolling it through the mould. And don't forget that if your marble is bigger than the mould, you can always use the rim of the actual mould just to get the nice shape, to rim the marble over the mould. You're only placing it on the mould lightly. Well, if you force it into the mould, then you will just get creases, especially with it being soft. You'll be able to get away with that if you're working with bora, but with soft glass it's got to be gently placed against the mould and gently twisted round. We'd say if you force it in, you'll just get these creases throughout the marble. I think you'll realise it's not quick to do the shaping. The marble, the making of the marble and the design of the marble can take a little sort of 5 or 10 minutes. But actually shaping the marble, sometimes it goes first time and you get it done in about 2 or 3 minutes. Other times it can take you 10 or 20 minutes. So I've got a tiny little gap there where the black hasn't quite married up with the piece of black, so I'm just going to put a little sliver of black over there to stop the light getting in it. And again, make sure you've got enough heat in it when you come to roll it to the marble mould. And then as the shape starts to get better, again flaming it all the time, keeping it warm. So I'm going to flame it around the bottom this time and then let it chill for a couple of seconds and then use a punty just to do a cold seal on the base. And then I'm going to take the top off where the clear glass goes back into the rod, remove that and then concentrate on getting the lens on the top nice and smooth and nice and round. And if there's too much glass there, I'll just take a little bit away with your tweezers. The very last thing we've got to do is to actually flame polish the marble all over, but then we need to get it off the punty. And so give it a couple of seconds just to harden off, and then I tend to use the marble mould and just pop it in the marble mould when it's nice and hard. And then give the punty a little knock and turn it round. And where there's a little mark where the punty's been attached, flame that over, pop that rod down, and then off to the kiln we go. At that point there, you can start to see the big reveal is the colours you've got in there. So you've got a fantastic little twist of dichroic. So put that in the kiln.